Hi, thank you and welcome to this video session on deep meditation. My name is David Cameron Gikandi and I'm extremely happy and grateful that you've decided to make the time to come watch yet another video from Miracles for Me. As always, I truly, honestly honor your time. It's very valuable. It's your life. So when you do spend time to do these things, I aim to deliver and I can guarantee you that today we're going to have an extremely good session. Very, very beneficial session. We're going to be getting into deep meditation. And what I want to tell you right now is that this is going to be super easy. You can do it. You can do it right now within the next 1 hour. And I'll show you how it's super easy. Right, so let's dive right into it by starting with the benefits. What are the biggest benefits you can expect to get out of deep meditation? Let's read some of these quotes that we see in front of us. Marcus Aurelius was perhaps one of the 5 greatest emperors of Rome. Yeah? And this is what he said. Men seek retreats for themselves in country places, on beaches and mountains, and you yourself are wont to long for such retreats. But that is altogether unenlightened when it is possible at any hour you please to find a retreat within yourself. For nowhere can a man withdraw to a more untroubled quietude than in his own soul. Wow. So one of the top 5 greatest emperors of Rome, yeah, the ancient empire of Rome, says that the most profound place you can find peace and quietude and rest and all that kind of stuff, all the good stuff that you get when you go on holiday on a beach or when you go to a country place or on the mountains or whatever, is actually within you. This is like the number one vacation spot you can get. But listen, we're not looking for vacations, right? We want a lot more out of life beyond vacations, okay? So let's look at the second quote. This comes from the Bible, from Psalms, the book of Psalms. And it says, "Be still and know that I am God." You're about to see in the next few slides that we're going to go into that this statement could very well be exactly referring to meditation or any other way of being still. Meditation is one of the ways to be still, okay? And what happens is once you're still, you realize that under all the noise, all the mind chatter and everything, the identity, the ego, my name is David, my name is Jane, under all that, there's this bedrock, this infinite, eternal, everlasting, unshakable, powerful, blissful peace. And you find it with and not just peace, it's like power and love and everything. It's literally the stuff from which universes are built. And the deeper you get into meditation, at some point you start to touch this, and then at some point you start to actually live in that experience, and you will know without a shadow of doubt that that is what some might want to refer to, give the word God, yeah. And you'll feel it deep within you, and you'll realize that it is in you. And I'm confidently saying this, even though I've never personally met you, but I know it's inside there. Because when I heard this the first time, and I did my meditation, and one time, the first time that I actually reached that bedrock, I found it. I was like, wow, so it's in everybody. How cool is that? Okay, and the third quote here comes from the Upanishads. That's from the Hindi. I believe that's the Hindi faith. The Upanishads are kind of like their Bible. Okay, so this is the quote. I'll read. "Words cannot describe the joy of the soul, who is one with his own spirit. Only those who feel this joy know what it is. Even as water becomes one with water, fire with fire, and air with air, so does the mind become one with infinite mind." Again, you can start to sense the deep, the biggest benefits of deep meditation. Okay, so you can imagine what would your life be like if you were living from this place, or if you could. I mean, I don't even think we could possibly imagine what life would be like, and we can only know it by experiencing it. Just like the Upanishad says, words cannot describe. It is beyond description. So those are some of the bigger benefits of deep meditation. Let's look at some of the, in quotes, smaller ones. You can expect to experience, right from your very first meditation, and of course going deeper as you go into it, grace, peace, presence, and by presence I mean you're here now. You're not like out in your mind, stressing about the future, or stuck in the past or whatever. That you're present in the present moment. Also, unconditional love, being awake, increased health, better relationships, better success, greater family life, etc. The list is endless. It's literally endless. And along with this video on the Hour of Transformation page, I give you several other meditation videos, not like how-tos, but like, testimonials from some very famous people you've seen on TV, some of your biggest stars. They're talking about how meditation changed their lives, So the list is endless. Another benefit is something called transcendence. Transcendence is a joyful state of integration between oneself and the infinite self. Okay? The infinite self is exactly what you think it is. It is that oneness, okay? Transcendence is a profoundly relaxed alertness with a loss of personal boundaries outside of space and time. It literally is unity consciousness. One feels wrapped in divinity, unshakable peace, love, and strength. Usually, this happens after you've been meditating a while, and your thoughts are much more settled. But it could even happen, on your first go at it. But in a nutshell, you can say that transcendence is a profound living stillness. Those three words should not be taken lightly. Stillness suggests that, deadness. Usually we think that dead things are still. But this is a living stillness. Yeah? It is living. And then it is profound. Profound means in any way you want to look at it, in terms of its joy, in terms of its power, in terms of its love, in terms of its scale. Everything is profound, So transcendence through deep meditation allows you to experience and to know your true self experientially, not as a theory in your head, but experientially. And in that way, you also get to know your true purpose. Now, all these effects and benefits, they trickle into your waking life. So from deep meditation, once you open your eyes and everything, you find that these effects start to, they're in your waking days, when you're playing with your kids, when you're out on holiday, when you're at work, when you're in traffic. They start to trickle into all those, and over time they sort of take over, so that you're no longer in stress. You stop looking at life from the ego, and you start looking at life from this place of deep bliss, over time. So the negative things in your life simply fall away or dissolve. You don't really have to kick them out. They just fall away by themselves and they dissolve, And I can guarantee that you will feel some kind of results, good, like a substantial result from your very first session of meditation. Now let's get into the technique. Before we get into the actual step-by-step technique, let's look at 3 facts that we're going to use to understand what's going on, as we meditate. Fact number 1 is that the mind is a thought machine. The mind produces thoughts continuously. The mind itself is not awareness. There's a difference. There's the thoughts, and then there's the awareness of the thoughts. Because if you're not aware, you'll not even notice these thoughts, passing by, right? So the mind itself is the machine that produces the thoughts, but it is not the awareness. It is simply a machine. We are the awareness. And the machine can be brought to rest. Now, once the mind is at rest, what remains? Only pure awareness remains. Once you turn off the machine and no more thoughts, you're just left with pure awareness. Deep meditation brings the mind to rest, the machine to rest. That's what it does. Fact 2, the mind tends to naturally flow towards joy and rest. That's its nature, It will go to rest and joy without effort. It's kind of like water. When you put water on a slope or on any surface, it will always seek the path of least resistance and flow towards a restful, lower state. That's the nature of water. That's also the nature of mind. Of course, we don't notice this nature because throughout the day we engage the mind. We actually identify with the mind, and then we just keep running the thoughts. And so we don't think that the mind can stop. But if you actually gave it the right tool or the right opportunity or the right direction, you'll notice that by itself, effortlessly, it calms down, it sinks down to rest. It's kind of like if you were to take a feather and you drop the feather, the feather just falls down slowly, or like a leaf falling from a tree branch. That's how the mind acts. It just goes down all the way to the ground and chills. Okay, now in deep meditation, the mantra is the vehicle that gives the mind that slope, that direction. We'll learn more about the mantra in a short while. Okay, so now we've covered two facts. Deep meditation brings the machine to rest. How? By using a vehicle called the mantra. Okay, before we get off fact two, let's just understand one thing, you and I. Effort is the enemy of mind at rest. Any sort of effort is an enemy of the goal here. So when you're talking of deep meditation, we're not trying to force the mind to shut up. Yeah, that's effort, and it is the enemy of what we're trying to do here. The whole process is effortless. So the idea that you need to do something, like put an effort to quiet the mind, right now you should throw away that idea right now. Okay, effort, any kind of effort is an enemy. We're not going to do any struggling from here on henceforth. We're going to be avoiding effort. Okay. Now the third fact is that maintaining simplicity is the key. That's about it. I think that's as simple as enough said. So now let's look at the mantra. The mantra is a sound, okay? It is a sound that means nothing to you. It's supposed to mean nothing to you. Yet this sound is chosen for the quality of its vibration. Let's understand why it means nothing to you. Let's say we pick a mantra like, for example, computer. Let's say we're going to chant computer as we meditate. So we're going to be like meditating and we're going computer, 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 because that's basically a mantra. What I just said, computer, computer, that's a mantra. A mantra is just simply a word that you repeat as a sound. It's not a word actually. It's a sound you repeat in your mind, not necessarily. In fact, it's not supposed to be loud with your mouth, at least not for this kind of meditation. It's not supposed to be. So if you chose the word computer, you'd be thinking about computers as you're trying to meditate, which would defeat the effort, the purpose of the meditation. So you have to pick a word that doesn't mean anything to you, because that way then your mind doesn't think about whatever the word is. It just listens to the sound of that word. So this sound is what is repeated to help the mind settle down into fewer and fewer thoughts. That's the point of the mantra. When you repeat the mantra, your mind naturally settles into fewer and fewer and fewer thoughts until there are no more thoughts. And we'll see how that happens in a short while. But I just wanted you to understand that's the point of the mantra, to be repeated as a sound in the mind. And that is what will give that mind the slope to chill out. Okay? Now, the mantra should also be easy to remember. The sound of the mantra should be easy to remember. It should be a sound that should resonate with you. You feel good with it. You like it. Okay, and it should also feel effortless to repeat for you. Okay, the mantra should be effortless to repeat for you. It should roll off easily in your mind. So here are some choices of mantras. And as you can see, they are one-word mantras. You literally have to just pick one word, out of these. Whatever feels best for you. You pick one of these, right? In other styles of meditation or with experience, you can even start to have a 2 or 3 word mantra. Things get more advanced if you like. But at the moment, we just need to pick one. I like the mantra Om. You see over here where my cursor is, A-U-M, Om. Sometimes people write it as O-M, but actually it's supposed to be A-U-M, Om. Another one that's quite easy is Ram. And also personally, maybe some people might think I'm crazy, but personally I like this one. Hear him, hear him, hear him, hear him. That's a mantra. Okay, so let's get into the steps, right? A deep meditation session lasts for 20 minutes, and that's it. You're not supposed to go more than that, at least not at the beginning. 20 minutes, that's it, and no less, okay? Now what you do is you sit down comfortably on any chair and in any position you feel most comfortably in. Okay, any chair. This chair could be on a bus, on a train, on a park bench, on a, your favorite couch, your rocking chair, whatever chair or sitting position you can find in your car, whatever, doesn't matter. Just this gives you the flexibility to be able to do meditation anywhere, right? So you don't have to sit like a guru. You don't have to cross your legs like, like those monks that you see up in the Himalayas. I mean, that's them. That's what they do since they were kids. But you don't need to do that. The idea that you need to do that to meditate is a myth. Let me tell you why it's a myth: because it's uncomfortable, and that defeats the purpose. Okay. So the only thing I'll suggest is don't lie down. Why? Because you'll tend to fall asleep. So unless you absolutely must lie down, maybe you're sick or something, and you absolutely must lie down, don't lie down, all right? But if you must lie down, then that's better than not doing meditation, okay? So, if you have to, go for it, but don't, try not to. Just find any comfortable sitting position anywhere, okay? Next, you have to close your eyes. Don't open them. Don't stare at a candle. Don't reinvent this. I mean, this is a particular style of meditation. There are other styles of meditations where you stare at stuff or you chant loudly. This is not it. This one is a particular one where you close your eyes, and and the mantra is, you repeat it as a sound in your mind. You don't say it out loud. Okay. Now, the final instruction is start repeating the mantra, the sound of the mantra in your mind. And then gently place your attention on the mantra, very easily and very gently, okay? And feel free to vary the pace of repeating the mantra. For example, if my mantra was Ram, yeah, so I could go Ram, Ram, and over time I might feel just the inclination to go Ram, 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 Ram. That's okay. You can vary, okay? And remember, this Ram it's in my mind. I'm not saying it loud with my mouth, okay? And the whole point is to place my attention on the sound, the mantra, okay? And I'll clarify that in this slide now. What does that mean? Place your attention on the mantra. It means this: whenever you realize that you're not on the mantra anymore, let's say, for example, you're thinking, you realize some new thoughts have come up, easily and gently come back to the mantra. Don't fight the intruding thoughts. Simply favor the mantra. Come back to the mantra gently and easily, without struggle. Okay. For example, if you're meditating and you're going Ram, 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 and then all of a sudden you think, oh, I wonder if my cat ate. Yeah. And did I remember to give it water? Is it outside? Is the cat? And then you realize, oh, I'm thinking about the cat. So you don't fight the whole, thoughts about the cat. You don't. You gently see your attention also on the thoughts on the cat. Gently put your attention back to the mantra. Ram, Ram, Ram. Okay. So simply favor the mantra. Simply come back to the mantra. Okay. Now, the objective of deep meditation is not to be on the mantra all the time. That isn't usually possible. It's not usually possible to be on the mantra 20 minutes, like the whole 20 minutes, you're just on the mantra. Something's going to break your attention, and that's fine. So the objective is not to be on the mantra anytime, okay? Don't try to beat yourself up because you lost the mantra. That's fine. That is part of the process. Now, this is the objective. The objective is to easily go back to the mantra. That's it. Easily go back to the mantra. This is your objective for 20 minutes. That's all you gotta do. That's the only effort you need to put in. No other effort. Whenever you find you're not on the mantra, easily go back to the mantra. Favor the mantra with your attention. Now, when the 20 minutes are up, rest a bit and then carry on with your life. Don't just 20 minutes up, stand up and go. If you do that, you might even get a headache. You might feel disoriented. Just rest a bit, a couple of minutes, chill out, relax. And then, get up and go on with your life. That's it, okay? That is it. It's so simple. Don't complicate it. Don't try to monitor your breath. Don't go should I be breathing deeply? Oh, no, it's too shallow. No, just let your breath go the way it goes. Don't try to monitor your thoughts. Just let everything be and just keep going back to the mantra. That's it. That's it. I guarantee you that's it. You'll be surprised how simple that process is. Now, what if during the meditation you feel like scratching or shifting position? Well, scratch, shift position, and then go back to favoring the mantra with your attention. What if you get a stream of persistent thoughts? Those thoughts that don't seem to go. That's fine. If you're trying to go back to the mantra and the thoughts keep coming, just relax, don't force it. Watch the thoughts, don't engage, don't jump in and start going, yes, yes, indeed, actually I should do this. No, no, no. Just watch them calmly and keep trying to go back to the mantra in a relaxed way, and eventually they'll pass just like a heavy cloud, and you'll be able to go back to the mantra. What if you get a brilliant idea, like a stroke of genius? Well, just say thank you and swiftly go back to the mantra. Don't start thinking about this brilliant idea or thinking I'm going to write it down. Let it go. It will come back in a more refined way if you go back to the mantra. What if you enter transcendence, that magical, blissful state that we just talked about? Cool, smile and go back to favoring the mantra with your attention. Even transcendence is not a place you stop at. You keep going to favoring the mantra. No matter what happens, you go back to favoring the mantra with your attention. Even if you get into this amazing, blissful, transcendent state, which you will, by the way, go back to favoring the mantra. It will refine that transcendence if you do that. If you get stuck on that one transcendence, you'll stay there. But if you go back to the mantra, you will refine it. Next time it will be even better. What if you feel like checking the clock? Well, if you must, check it, then go back to favoring the mantra. What if you see angels or beings of light, or amazing lights or crazy wavy sensations, because that could also happen. You might just see this amazing lights. You might just lose this sense of you versus the rest of the universe. That could happen. Fine, say hi or smile, go back to favoring the mantra. What if you get strong emotions? What if, let's say, like you feel like crying or like super joy or whatever as you're meditating? Because that will also happen. Well, feel them, but don't try to analyze them. Don't, just like with the thoughts, feel them, but don't engage. Don't just start to think, I wonder why I feel so sad. Was it because I was abused when I was a kid? No, no, no. Just feel the sadness. If you gotta do, shake your tears, whatever it is. If you have to laugh, go back to favoring the mantra. Okay, whenever you can. So because sometimes the emotion might be so strong, so you're just busy like crying or maybe like super joy. That's cool, but try to go back to the mantra and don't block the emotion. But as soon as you can, gently go back to favoring the mantra. Yeah, so what if you find yourself in a blissful state where there is no thoughts and there is no mantra? You will get there someday. The thoughts will disappear, the mantra will disappear, and then you'll just notice, oh my God, I am infinite nothingness. Go back to favoring the mantra. Do you see how this works? It's the only objective that you have. There is only one goal. Favor the mantra with your attention. Don't try to chase transcendence. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to get the feel good that you got last time. Don't fight other thoughts and feelings. Don't struggle. Don't have an objective. Don't anything else. Just go back to favoring the mantra. That is all. That's how you're gonna succeed with this. Okay. Now let's talk about schedule. Again, each session is only 20 minutes. No more, no less. Okay, you could go, plus 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, we're not completely crazy here, but generally we're talking about 20 minutes. Okay. Number 2, you must set up 2 sessions a day. The first one is right after you wake up, before you eat or exercise. Okay. If you want, you can go wash your face or whatever and sit down, or you can just wake up and sit down on your bed, if whatever, and then just do that. Okay. And then the next one is in the evening before you eat your dinner, and at least an hour before you sleep, because meditation actually prepares for action. It really invigorates you with energy. So you don't want to do it before you sleep. Like, you don't want to meditate and then sleep. You'll be buzzing. So you need to give yourself some time. Now, I said don't complicate it, and I'm not trying to complicate it right here on this slide. This is just something I thought might be useful for some people. Now, if you're one of the alarm people, I'm generally not so good with alarms. I'd rather just wake up naturally. Or if I have to set an alarm, I'd rather get one of those apps that can sense your sleep cycle, so that it wakes you up, at the right time, so it's not in the middle of a cycle. Because I find myself very jarred when I wake up just like roughly like 5 o'clock. I could be in a deep sleep cycle, and that I'm not so cool with that. But if you're an alarm person, okay, this is what you can do. This is an example. I just set this up on my phone, and I thought maybe I'd show them to you. So for example, if you want to wake up at 5 a.m., you set a 5 a.m. alarm clock, so that goes. Maybe give yourself 5 minutes to kind of like, I don't know, sit down or whatever. And then there's a subsequent one that goes 25 minutes later that tells you, okay, the meditation is done. So this wakes you up, this tells you when it's done. So you don't have to check the clock. And then you can have another one for the evening. Same deal, maybe 4:30, 5. So you get at least 10 minutes to sort of like prepare yourself or find a quiet place. Maybe you're out there somewhere. Maybe you might want to go. Maybe you might be at, I don't know, at work. And so you might want to go to the bathroom or shut the office, whatever, gives you 10 minutes. Okay. And once again, if you're the kind of person that likes to schedule, so you see over here, I've got a do not disturb on my phone for this example. So I've set it from 4:30 to 5. So automatically, when my meditation session goes in, the phone goes off as well. No one rings me. And another thing you could do is use the timer. So you can have a 20-minute timer. So whenever you start meditation, just click start and forget about it, because once the 20 minutes are up, the phone is going to chime or whatever alarm you've got. I use a chime. So it's like, chimes, they're soft. I don't want a hard alarm to get me out. On a soft one. So you could do that. So that way you save yourself from checking the clock all the time. Now let's look at what to expect. Over time, your meditations will become deeply refined. They become easier and more profound. Your nervous system will start to be refined and purified with each session. Okay. Now the purification. What does this mean? Nervous system refined and purified. Well, all the stresses that you've built up over the years since you're born, all the past, the memories, the habits, and all that stuff, that is all stored within not just your brain, but also within your nervous system and everything. So meditation starts to clear out these things. Okay. It starts to refine and clear those things, you see, because those are the things that block you from feeling your bliss. Remember, when you're born as a little child, you felt it. Then as you pile on all this crap that we pile on over time, you stop feeling it. So meditation goes the other way around. It purifies it until you hit bliss again, you see. So purification can cause pleasant experiences sometimes, and sometimes very unpleasant ones. Sometimes you might feel like extreme ecstasy. Sometimes you might feel super sad. Depends on the purification, you see. But whatever the case, as you do it, go back to the mantra. And your life, your entire life will change greatly for the better as you continue your practice. And now, you also need to realize that even when a meditation session seems uneventful, many will feel eventful. Some of them will just feel like you just keep popping into a thought and going back to the mantra, and you've done it 100 times in 20 minutes and that's it. So you might feel uneventful, but guaranteed that each meditation session has a huge, deep impact within you. You don't need to know what it is. You don't need to control it. You'll experience it sooner or later, okay? All you have to do is keep going back to the mantra. Simply stick to the procedure. Leave the rest. It's not your business. It'll just be done for you. Okay, and not too long after you start, you will start to notice the watcher. The watcher is the silent self, the awareness. Remember we said that we are the awareness. We're calling it the watcher. That's the one that notices the thoughts. The watcher is not the mind. So many people today on earth are identified with the mind. In fact, there's a big saying that says, "I think, therefore I am." No, the mind is a machine. It is the machine. You're not the machine. You're the sort of, you could say, owner of the machine. So because of this identification with the mind, we don't realize that there is a me and a me that notices the me. You understand what I mean? Or rather, the watcher and that which the watcher is watching. We don't see that gap. We think it's all the same. So you start to notice the watcher. Now, we are at one with all that is like a permanent state. It doesn't shift. But the reason why we don't experience that is because of the noise and the impurities of the mind, the machine, the stuff we said that, we need purification from in the nervous system. Now, as purification occurs through meditation, you will increasingly experience glimpses and then periods of oneness. That's natural. And eventually, your mind will be one with infinite mind. And the results of this are tremendous and good beyond your current imagination. There's no point trying to list them. They're just quantum leap. Now, your journey deeper can only continue if and when you keep coming back to the mantra and you do your 2 sessions a day. Okay? So that's it. Now, even getting stuck at transcendence is not ultimately ideal. Always come back to the mantra. You might start meditating, and then at some point you realize every time you meditate, you hit transcendence, and it's so nice. And then you stop doing the mantra and you're just chilling out in the transcendence because it's so good. You're going to get stuck, and that's not cool. Even though it's a nice place to be stuck, there's a lot more in store for you. So don't get stuck at this nice transcendence place, okay? Always go back to the mantra, because even the transcendence will become more refined. Now, these are some milestones you can expect to pass through, and they include bliss. The major milestones. There are many, many milestones, but these are the major ones. Bliss. When you touch the unshakable, silent, changeless, formless self, you will experience its essence. Its essence is bliss. Bliss is like extreme joy. Bliss is a built-in aspect of the true self. It's built-in. It's not an emotion. You see, like happiness, whatever, is an emotion. Bliss is a built-in aspect. It's a state. It's not although it feels better than joy or better than happiness, but it's not an emotion like happiness is. It's, I think you understand that. It's like a characteristic. The next thing also you will experience is ecstasy. Now, ecstasy is the what do you call it? Prana, the chi, the energy that flows through you. Okay, and as it flows through you, it actually feels ecstatic. Yeah, remember when you were a little kid, life just felt so good. Because you had this stuff flowing through you just openly. But over time, your nervous systems got blocked and all that. Yeah. So as you meditate, they'll start to unblock. And as they unblock, you'll notice this flow of energy. As it flows, and sometimes you'll rub against the purifications and take them out, or sometimes just find a clear channel. But anyways, it's going to feel ecstatic, okay? And it will increase. The ecstasy will increase over time, okay? Now, ecstasy is life force energy in motion. So that's the difference between bliss and ecstasy. One is energy in motion. The other one is I don't know whether to call it a state or condition or a characteristics, but you understand what it is. This is energy in motion. This is a being, it's beingness. This is beingness. It just is. It just is. This is movement. This is space. This is motion. Motion, space. Now, a major milestone is divine union or divine love, divine birth. This happens when eventually bliss and ecstasy merge. Mind and body become one. Yeah? This is the famous dying and being born again, because your ego self disappears, dies, and then the divine birth happens. Mind, body, and spirit become one. And then you'll be able to say to this mountain, move, and to move. It's such a new way of it's a crazy place to be. I mean, it's you can imagine. But I personally cannot claim having reached here. I have experienced transcendence, but this one, not in this lifetime yet. But there are many who have. Many who have. So this is not a mythical thing, okay? So that's about it. I encourage you to try it right now. Right now, end this video and try it. And this is how you do it. Let me give you a very quick example of a meditation session. This is me meditating. Now, I'm going to repeat the mantra loudly, but just so that you can hear. But obviously, when you're doing it, you should repeat it as a sound in your mind, not loudly. So here we go. I'm closing my eyes. Okay, and then I start the mantra. Let's say I pick Om, although you can pick whichever from the list I gave you. So I go Om, 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 Om. I wonder if my cat is. Oh, I'm thinking of the cat. Back to the mantra. Om, Om, Om. Om, 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 Om. Oh, I've got a good business idea. Wow, that's gonna be. Back to the mantra. Om, Om. You see, it's that simple. It's that simple. Just try it. Just try it. Don't knock it before you try it. Give it a go. Give yourself 20 minutes. Just follow the simple rules. Do 2 sessions before you judge it. I guarantee that you will realize it's amazing. Do 2 sessions. Do one today, do one tomorrow, or if this is in the morning, do one now, do one in the evening. Just do that only, and I guarantee this gonna it's amazing. All right, so thank you very much for your time. This is David Cameron Gikandi from www.miracles4.me. Thanks again for your time, and enjoy.